it might be quite nice if you could come round this side. Is there anyone left? Before I get going with our thank you speeches, I just wanted to point out that there are some facilities, toilet facilities, just on this side and on the far side of the gates which you came in. And if there is a fire alarm, it's going out through the gates, I think. Is that right? So I just wanted to say thank you very much, everyone, for turning up tonight. It's a very good turnout. For those that haven't noticed, people wearing red badges are scientists who have taken part in the event. Blue badges are teachers and a couple of students. Yellow badges are the crew, and white badges is everyone else. But thank you, everyone, very much for coming. And what I really want to do tonight is really say thank you, because so many people have given up so much time to take part in this event, and every year it's absolutely blown me away how much effort you put in, and I'm not getting emotional yet. So what I want to do first of all is just to ask Julia and a couple of her students, Suzanne and Ahmed, to come up and just tell the scientists and the other people what it's been like on the other side as a student taking part and whether it's meant anything. And I've told them if they just say whatever, they're out of here.
Thanks very much, Shane. We've done I'm a Scientist, Get Me Out of Here since June 2010, and Ahmed has been on 2 of our crews in terms of chatting to scientists. He did the Evolution Zone in June last year, and he did the Space Zone in March of this year. And those of you who remember being keeping in touch with the March event may remember Wavicle, the student who asked about 50 different questions and probably showed he knew more about physics than his own lecturers did. Quite simply, being in the classroom when all of this is going on is magical. I have never seen my students so engaged in a lesson that's involved all of them sitting at computers before. They're utterly engrossed in what they're doing. They're not always asking you, as you'll know, scientific questions. I'm still a little bit embarrassed that some people asked what you all thought of Justin Bieber. But on the whole, they've been really insightful questions. And from my perspective as a teacher, it gives me that opportunity to get them involved in real science. I do come from a scientific background, but what I do is very different and rather sort of kiddie-on science compared to what you're doing every single day. And I think it's best if I sort of hand over to Ahmed and Suzanne to just say what they get out of I'm a Scientist and how it's affected them. Come on, guys.
Thank you, Julia, for saying so much. And I really liked I'm a Scientist, and some of the questions I asked really didn't answer them because they thought it's philosophical, but it doesn't stop me from asking them. And I also remember that whenever I ask question, my parents told me ask a question which hasn't got an answer, because that if there's an answer, what would you do? Go to internet or a book, you will find it within 5 minutes. But the question hasn't been answered, that will motivate you to go and find it by yourself. So some of the questions I asked did not really answer, and but I am in the search of it, and hopefully I will find it. Thank you very much.
Hi. Well, I have fun chatting with the Florida scientists, and that's it I want to say. Thank you.
Just so you know, we've got one BTEC Level 3 student, so equivalent to A-levels, who's leaving this year, having done 2 years at West Thames College, and he's off to study physics at University of Sussex. So I'm sure he'll be bothering you physicists a lot later. And Susanne here has been doing our pre-GCSE programme for students for whom English is their second or sometimes third language. So, as an addition to what these two have said, it's helping to prep students for university, and I think getting to chat real time with scientists has really helped Susanne to improve his English and his scientific vocabulary. So thank you very much, scientists, for everything you've done for us.
I'm also going to ask Stephen Curry to come up. Stephen took part last June in the imaging zone and was part of one of the fiercest battles we've seen on I'm a Scientist against his opponent, Dr. Tom Hartley, who unfortunately couldn't come down from York to be with us. But Stephen, if you just say what it's been like as a scientist. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Whatever. Well, what I'd like to do first of all is to thank Shane and Sophia and actually everybody involved at Gallimanor and I'm a Scientist for destroying my life for 2 weeks in June of last year. But I also have to thank them for changing my life as a result of that 2 weeks last year, because this is a truly magical and miraculous event that provides a degree of connection with school kids that's very hard to achieve. Anyone who's sort of a working scientist and gone into a school, into the classroom, you get a very strong sense from the 30 or so kids in the classroom of the sort of intensity of their curiosity, the relentlessness of their questioning, and the sort of magnificence of this event is that it rolls this out, all this activity out on a national level and allows so many other people to participate in it. And the real secret of it, of course, is that the kids are entirely in the driving seat. And while there are massive benefits to the children from this event, I think it's equally important to recognise that there are huge benefits to the scientists. I find it totally refreshing to be sort of in the thick of it and up against all the different questions and all the sort of massive sense of curiosity, the great sense of humour that the children had. And also what was really struck me was the enormous sense of idealism and optimism that these children had for what we might broadly call the scientific enterprise. And for me, it was really refreshing and reinvigorating. You know, I've worked in science for 20 years. You're bound to get a bit jaded. But this contact with the children and also with the wider public is really an important part of reminding scientists and maybe informing some of them, you know, what is the nature of their mission in society. It's not just about test tubes and experiments in the lab. It's really about making a difference to society. And that's one of the real lessons I think that the kids teach us.
Thank you, Stephen. And now Sophia's just going to say a couple of words, I think.
Yes, yeah.
From Gallimanor.
Sort of hand signal.
So you might want to go get a drink quickly.
Hello.